of what actually takes place inside these revered universities. I took that example of that mega anti-India, anti-Hindu narrative that was built through that lecture that was organized, which was called the Dismantling Global Hindutva. There was just a few weeks ago, in fact, in Harvard, there was a lecture that had been organized. This was talking about Pakistan, and this happened right after the 22 April terror attacks that had taken place. And we already know the several examples and instances where Harvard professors, deans, students have come out protesting, raising anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic slogans and protests that have been happening, and they've been holding these lectures, and falling into this woke tendency, this liberal attitude is what the Trump administration calls it. How important does it become once again to actually monitor what goes on in these universities in the name of freedom of speech and expression?
Thank you, Megha. The questions you raise are deep and profound, and who draws the line where and who has the, let's say, the authority to draw a line. I mean, these are fundamental questions, where is free speech and what borders on, hate, etc. So these are big questions. But yes, let's step back. What the Trump administration is doing with regards to various universities and students, I think there are two tracks to it. One is the Trump administration is very much not in favor of the elite universities in the US because the Trump administration or the MAGA crowd, because they believe that these are centers of intellectual elite, the liberal elite, bleeding heart liberals, socialists, communists. They really want to eliminate that, okay, from their Ivy League or whichever universities. That is one. Along with it is the issue of, the Palestinian, pro-Palestinian, anti-Jew, anti-Semitic protests which came up. So I would say that, yes, sure, Jewish anti-Semitism is one factor, but this is much more and beyond that. And as Professor Nalapat was saying, this would extend obviously also to anti-American speech. So students who would have put on their social media, Instagram or whatever, anything against America now, the question is again, who is the judge? Okay, if the visa officer there or their data mining throws up that this child has been, posting anti-Trump messages or memes of Trump or cartoons of Trump, rest assured, high degree of chance that the poor chap will be denied the visa. Okay, so so there are two elements. One is, the anti-intellectual, anti-university bent of the MAGA crowd. Secondly, yes, anti-Semitism went that. And also at the same time, anti-America views. Essentially, they're saying that we want to welcome people into our country whom we think conform to our architecture that we have out there. Now, couple of points. I do think that it will unfortunately lead to some drop in the students. I do, unfortunately. I'm not so cheerful because one, there'll be delays, they'll be setting up new systems, social media vetting, how they're going to do it, data mining, AI, etc. What it throws up, nobody will be able to question it. Another reason why the Trump administration is doing this is to, in a way, tighten the screws on the financial, let's say, revenues of the universities. International students contribute substantial sums. Let's say, take the example of Harvard, the case in point nowadays. About 1/3 or so of their foreign students are foreign, 1/4 or 1/3, right? That brings substantial income to the university. Now, if the number of these students goes down, it affects the revenues of those universities. Sure, it affects the overall American economy, but there's a lot going on in the American economy that Trump is looking to juggle, and they think that can make it happen all towards a very, golden future. But part of the intent is also to, narrow the funnel for income for the universities. And remember, when these wettings will be done for visa applications, you can be sure that some private universities will be more under microscope than others. So when a child is applying for a university like, let's say, Columbia, okay, I can assume generally that the visa office will look at his or her social media record little bit more than compared to some, let's say, State University of Illinois kind of a thing, somebody going there, right? Because they have the MAGA perspective. They have a estimate over 20-25 Ivy League elite universities, which are the seats of intellectual bias against the right, and they want to kind of narrow the scope, their abilities.
But is it necessarily a bad thing?
It is not a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. Yes, from the point of view of the US, And it is not a bad thing for us also. Okay, fine, for Indian students, if you don't want our perspective. But I think in a bigger picture, it's a bad thing. As Ambassador Goel was saying, America thrives. What makes America great are these universities. They are cutting down research grants. By the way, that will also reduce the number of students, because many of the PhD and MTech master students, when they go, they're going on to work on research grants. Now, grants of these universities have also been chopped off, right? So this is, I think, probably absolutely not good for America in the long term, because it's the, this is the magnet which makes America great fundamentally. So I would say, yes, I would lean towards that this is not good for America in the long term. But hey, they make their choices.
Okay. I have with me Dinesh Jotwani. He's a career counselor joining me on the telecast. Dinesh Jotwani, have there been a lot of phone calls that you have been receiving in the last 12 hours once this information came out late last night about the US administration halting the visa process for international students without any stipulated time period being announced by Marco Rubio?
I do agree with